जी, तो जिस वीडियो के ऊपर हम आज रिएक्ट करने जा रहे हैं वो भी काफ़ी इन डिमांड है और उस वीडियो का नाम है इमरान खान बिट्रेज पाकिस्तान, चेकमेट एपिसोड 27 विद मेजर गौरव आर्या रिटायर्ड। बेसिकली ये मेजर साहब जो हैं ये काफ़ी इन डिमांड हैं और ये पाकिस्तान को जैसे खान सर थे जिनकी हमने वीडियो देखी थी जो कि कोशिश करते पाकिस्तान को रोस्ट करने की, वैसे वो ज़्यादा कश्मीरियों को ही रोस्ट कर रहे थे। तो अब हम देखते हैं कि मेजर गौरव आर्या जो हैं वो भी काफ़ी इस तरह ऑफेंसिव पे हैं, तो देखते हैं कि उनका क्या कहना है। लेट्स सी।
So this entire political circus that is going on in Pakistan now, this is not recent. It has been building up for the past 2 years, and it started off with previous videos of Imran Khan surfacing when he was in the opposition, of him being extremely critical of the Pakistan army, saying things like, there's been a genocide in Balochistan and in the tribal areas, and the Pakistani army has killed people, it has taken money from the Americans, etc., etc. So he went to town criticizing the Pakistan army. Now these are old videos when he was not in power. The fact of the matter is that Imran Khan
ये कौन सी वीडियोस हैं
and took support of the same army to come to power, and then his opponents started flashing those videos on social media. That's number one. Number two, very importantly, and I think the most important point is that Imran Khan
भाई वीडियोस ये तो नहीं होंगी कि वो जो जेनोसाइड कर रहे हैं आर्मी वाले और ये वो, क्योंकि अपनी मिलिट्री के ख़िलाफ़ तो वो इस तरह करके नहीं आ सकता था पहले, पावर से पहले ऑब्वियसली। कोई और वीडियोस होंगी वैसी डिक्टेटरशिप के बारे में और जो मिलिट्री होल्ड है पॉलिटिक्स के ऊपर उसके बारे में कुछ बोला होगा, उसकी वीडियोस होंगी।
Khan himself was a big opponent, if I may say, of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Now, a China-Pakistan economic corridor inside Pakistan has its own ecosystem. It has people who are very powerful, who are beneficiaries of the system, and Imran Khan was a very staunch opponent of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. And when he came to power, one of the first things that he did was he said, get out all the contracts, let us review every contract, how much are we paying, we are in debt because of the Chinese, etc., etc. This did not go down very well with the Chinese. Over a period of time, Imran Khan realized that Pakistan cannot survive without Chinese aid. Not exactly aid, China does not give aid or grants, it gives loans, but whatever. Pakistan will not be able to survive without China's financial interventions, if I may call it, inside Pakistan. Also, what happened was that he refused to speak, and this is, that level of hubris, that level of pride, that I won the 1992 World Cup, I'm a superstar, I'm a messiah who has come down from the skies. Now, this is something that Imran Khan has in his own mind, playing on a loop constantly.
Kind of. True.
So, basically, Imran Khan refused to talk to the opposition parties. He said, I will not deal with you, I will not even talk to you. And these are people who are sitting inside the Pakistani parliament. They call it the National Assembly.
ये तो है.
Imran refused to speak to them. He refused to, even in a way, on a daily basis, the conversation between the opposition and the ruling party became extremely abusive, especially on social media by PTI trolls. Imran Khan has a troll army at his disposal. They run various YouTube channels, various Facebook channels, and they are on Twitter, etc. These are young people who think, foolish of them to think like that, but they do think that Imran Khan is the savior of Pakistan.
Unfortunately,
so all
yes.
these things combined,
ऐसे लोग हैं जो blindly
lastly,
कुछ भी follow करते हैं.
Not the most important point, also Imran Khan's inability to manage the economy. He absolutely failed. So it's a different thing getting on top of a container and giving a speech and telling people that Inqilab aayega, there will be a revolution. But the fact of the matter is, when you're the prime minister, you've got to deliver. Imran Khan was unable to deliver.
कुछ करके दिखाना होता है.
About there's a conspiracy to oust me, the Americans are conspiring, the Europeans are conspiring, all that. So this led to a lot of bad blood in Pakistan still going on in front of us. See, Apurva, there's no letter. There is absolutely no, it's Imran Khan is telling a lie. Basically, हुआ ये है कि there is this gentleman in the State Department of the US called Donald Lu. He's a career diplomat, okay. So he's speaking to, a Pakistani diplomat, and they're having this conversation, in which he might have said a few things. Donald Lu said that Imran Khan should not have gone to Russia and all that, and this is nothing so serious. I mean,
I'm not sure about this. ये fact checking लेकिन most probably कुछ ऐसा ही हुआ होगा. हाँ, अमेरिका सभी को यही कहता है.
Who is again part of the Biden administration? He came. He made those comments, saying that if China attacks you, Russia will not come to your help, and these are very provocative comments. I think these things happen in diplomacy. People make comments all the time. The problem is that Imran Khan lied. First of all, there is no letter. The Americans did not write a letter to the Pakistanis.
ना वो इतने बेवकूफ हैं. लेटर
saying
होता
that if
तो आ
Imran
गया
Khan
होता.
doesn't fall in line, we will ensure that he's thrown out. No, nobody said that.
ऐसे कौन कहता है
Nobody
भाई?
said that. And this letter that he was waving around in that jalsa of his, showing off that letter to everybody, that letter was nothing but, which was written by Pakistan's foreign office itself. He was showing his own letter. It was not like the Americans had written it. Americans have, said to India that you will be on the wrong side of history if you don't change your decision of buying oil from Russia. I've also already mentioned that if the Chinese attack, don't expect the Russians to come to your aid. Americans have been making these statements, and there is a way to, counter, and that way is diplomacy. Unfortunately, he again lied. My life is under threat, and somebody's going to kill me out of thin air, just to get, those sympathy votes or sympathy from the people. So this is what
Oldest
Imran Khan
trick
did.
in the
He lied
book.
about the letter. He lied about each and there is no letter. That letter does not exist. This is an internal memo from Pakistan's foreign office to probably the Prime Minister's office saying
इस
that
बात की कोई
जनाब हम
confirmation
बैठे
नहीं
हमारी ये
कह
बात हुई थी.
सकता.
Normally what diplomats will do is if they talk to somebody else in a foreign country, they sort of tend to write it down and say that we heard this and this person said this just for the record. And the Pakistani diplomat did his job. But you do not use words spoken between diplomats in front of a public rally and then try to raise the pitch.
Without context.
Nobody does these things. The world will stop. Not that Pakistani diplomats, were held in very high esteem, but the fact of the matter is, now there will be a massive trust deficit. Nobody will want to speak to a Pakistani diplomat. You don't know which crazy lunatic in Pakistan gathers a crowd of another 10 lakh crazy lunatics and starts telling them that मेरे ऊपर मुझे धमकी दी है, I've been threatened and all that. This is something that is not done. These are not the norms of diplomatic behavior or diplomatic decency. See, the IMF has suspended its program, and they're saying that we'll talk to the next government. So if the elections are going to be after 3 months and it will take time 4-5 months, so where does there's going to be a balance of payment crisis in Pakistan. Pakistan needs money now.
भाई लग रहा है ये बहुत पाकिस्तान पे एक्सपर्ट है.
$5 billion.
हालांकि इंडियन आर्मी के रिटायर्ड
$3
मेजर
billion and then $1 or $2 billion more going forward. Where does Pakistan get this money from? Today, okay, forget about the IMF program for a second. Let me ask you another question. Who's running Pakistan today? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who's running Pakistan. So, you see,
क्या मतलब यार?
what has happened
गवर्नमेंट
is
है पूरी,
Pakistan was anyway
हुकूमत है, सिस्टम है, निज़ाम है.
What has happened is
हाँ,
that Imran
economic
Khan
हालात
made
बुरे हैं.
sure that because of his own political ambitions, because of the fact that he can't seem to let go, he's fascinated by the chair, he's
बिल्कुल.
fascinated by power. This man used to abuse the Pakistan army. Then he made a U-turn.
अब्यूज तो नहीं यार,
He used the Pakistani army to come to power.
ये गलत मेरे
And
ख्याल से
again
अल्फाज
now,
हैं.
he's using the social media, not his own handle. He's smart
Now
enough not to
he
do
is,
that,
now
but
he
his own
is.
followers who are abusing the Pakistan army. So it's come a full circle.
Yeah, now it's happening.
Essentially, what Imran Khan has done is ensured that Pakistan goes for the dollars. And the way he has done it is, who was giving Pakistan money? The Arabs are not giving money. If the Chinese give money, they are going to demand Apurva their own pound of flesh. And if you talk about if you talk about IMF has suspended its program temporarily with Pakistan, and all these things, all these accusations of horse trading that
चल रहे भैया IMF की डील हमने करवा ली. अब ये कितनी महीने पुरानी वीडियो है.
Money to leave Pakistan, Tehreek Insaf,
April 6 था भाई. अभी अगस्त चल रहा है और हम करवा चुके हैं वो वाली डील. तो मेजर साहब
Pakistan is in the FATF grey list. The FATF is going to sort of question Pakistan. Where did this money come from? Because this money obviously comes from money laundering, and money laundering is one thing that Pakistan is accused of. And here's the Prime Minister of Pakistan saying that people receive money. So it is not something for which you realize you need proof. The sitting Prime Minister of Pakistan is saying that money laundering has happened in the sense that people were paid. How do you pay millions of dollars in bribe? How do you pay? You don't pay through check or a demand draft. You pay in cash. Where did that cash come from? Obviously there has to be some element of money laundering. There it is. So Imran Khan, because of his lust for political power, has ensured that Pakistan suffers, and he does not realize that he's making his country suffer.
यार unfortunately सारे politicians जो हैं वो यही करते हैं.
Advantage of this entire political situation in Pakistan.
वो कैसे भाई?
Russia's caught between a rock and a hard place. There was a time decades earlier when Russia tried to invaded Chechnya, and they went to Grozny, and Russia was beaten black and blue. Hundreds of their tanks were destroyed by common people, using Molotov cocktails. Tanks were destroyed using RPG rockets and all that. And they suffered grievous losses. Their infantry suffered grievous losses. Now, Russia finds itself in a similar position in Ukraine. It has lost thousands of soldiers. It has lost billions of dollars of equipment. And the war does not seem to be coming to an end. Russia wants a useful distraction. I don't mean to belittle the Prime Minister of Pakistan, but there is a term in English called a useful idiot. Imran Khan is that useful idiot in this entire game that is happening. So what Russia does is, it does information warfare. It says Imran Khan is being punished for not, kowtowing to Washington or not bowing down before
वो अपने एजेंडा पे
Washington's wishes. That is not true. That is not true. The truth is that every country who was neutral was spoken to by America, was spoken to by the Europeans. The English were here in Delhi, the Germans were here, the Americans were here. Everybody came and spoke to the Indians, telling us that please don't be neutral and please condemn this aggression. India chose to do what was in the best interests of India, and I'm sure Imran Khan would like to do, or would have wanted to do whatever is in the best interests of Pakistan. But at least we are buying oil from the Russians. Pakistan is buying nothing. In fact, Imran Khan went to Moscow to beg for money. He wanted $1 billion. I'd like our viewers to go on Google and check it out.
Really?
He wanted $1 billion from Moscow. Why do you think he went there? He went there to beg for money.
इसके ऊपर रिसर्च करेंगे, और अगर आपको भी पता है कोई सोर्सेज हैं तो हमें कमेंट्स के अंदर ज़रूर बताएं.
All they said was, and they have spoken to every country, not just Pakistan, right? They've spoken to every single country.
हाँ वो तो
neutral. And that is all that the Americans said, that please condemn it. That's it. This whole thing about America does not want me to continue in power. How does America care? Pakistan is a basket case. Today it's Imran Khan. Let us say it's Shahbaz Sharif tomorrow, or Bilawal Bhutto. What are they going to do that will benefit the Americans? The Americans no longer want to go to Afghanistan.
वो तो निकल गया.
What use is Pakistan to man or beast? Understand, Apurva. What can Pakistan give to the other country? Any other country? What can Pakistan give to America? Nothing. Pakistan has nothing.
भाई हमारी जियो स्ट्रेटेजिक लोकेशन जो है वो इस तरह की है कि हमारी ज़रूरत पड़ती रही है इत्तेहाज़ में सबको, और अभी भी पड़ रही है. अभी भी पाकिस्तान मेरे हिसाब से, मेरे ओपिनियन में, अमेरिका के आइज़ एंड ईयर्स है रीजन के अंदर. क्योंकि ठीक है अफ़गानिस्तान को वो छोड़ तो गए हैं, लेकिन आपको पता है वो मतलब कि वो इस तरह पूरी तरह से जाते तो नहीं है, और रीजन के अंदर ज़ाहिर है उनका इंटरेस्ट है, और रीजन के अंदर ऑब्वियसली इंडिया भी आता है. तो पाकिस्तान के यूजेस तो हैं, ऐसी बात तो नहीं है, इसी वजह से पाकिस्तान है और पाकिस्तान रहेगा भी इंशाल्लाह। लेकिन खैर आगे देखते हैं।
Give at one point in time was to provide a path to Afghanistan and therefore to Central Asia. But now nobody is looking for that path through Pakistan to Afghanistan. The Americans are not. They have exited from there. And whatever they want to do in terms of Taliban, they're doing it through Doha. They're doing it sitting inside Qatar. Qatar is the international headquarters of the Taliban. It's no longer Pakistan.
हाँ ये बात तो ठीक
This
है।
entire victim card thing that they are playing, that no, what has
लेकिन
happened is
टेररिज्म
that
फिर से यहाँ पे दोबारा से
America is trying to punish Pakistan.
सीन
No,
कुछ होने लगा है।
that's not true. That is again Imran Khan fakery that they're trying to punish Pakistan. Why would America want to punish Pakistan? Why? For what reason? What does Pakistan have that America wants? Nothing, absolutely. But there is a lot of anti-Americanism in Pakistan, and it's a good election ploy. तो मैंने अमेरिका को आंखें दिखा दी, that sort of thing.
इलेक्शन प्लॉय तो है, लेकिन एंटी
typically,
अमेरिकनिज्म इस वजह से नहीं है, वो इस वजह से क्योंकि अमेरिका ने बेसिकली इज़ द रूट ऑफ वाई वेयर स्टिल सफरिंग फ्रॉम टेररिज्म और इस तरह के जो एलिमेंट्स हैं आज तक चल रहे हैं। तो ये अमेरिकन जो फंडिंग है और जो कोल्ड वॉर और जो भी इनके अपने लफड़े रहे हैं और ये अफ़गानिस्तान में जो करते रहे हैं पिछले कितने साल, तो हमने अपने बहुत सारे सिविलियंस खोए हैं इस चक्कर में।
At a village panchayat level, when you talk like that, Imran Khan treats Pakistan like a panchayat and himself like a sarpanch of a panchayat.
सारे पॉलिटिशियन ऐसे करते
मैंने
हैं,
उसको ये कर दिया, मैंने ये कर दिया। America doesn't
लेकिन
care about
हाँ
Pakistan.
ये इमरान खान
America
थोड़ा
doesn't care.
एक्स्ट्रा है।
If Pakistan was so important, let me be very honest. If Pakistan was so important, somebody would have given him a phone call. Forget about the President of America. The Vice President has not called them. And important people, the movers and shakers in the American administration, they want nothing to do with Pakistan. They want nothing to do with Imran Khan. So, it's not like Pakistan is sitting on a huge treasure which the world wants. There's nothing like that. Nobody wants anything to do with Pakistan. Maybe tomorrow they have interest again in Afghanistan. Maybe they again want to go to Afghanistan 5 years from now. Then the Americans will throw a few dollars, and whoever is sitting in Pakistan will come behind them wagging its tail, because Pakistan will always want dollars. But the fact of the matter is, as we stand today, as we speak today, the US for the West wants nothing to do with Pakistan.
probably right. भाई इन्होंने काफ़ी सारी बातें जो हैं वो ठीक की हैं, कुछ हमें फैक्ट्स बताए हैं और बाकी जो ओपिनियन भी दिए हैं वो अच्छे तरीके से भी दिए हैं, और मेरे ख़्याल से बेहतर काफ़ी इनका सारा जो सिस्टम था, जो अंदाज़ था और सारा वो खान सर जो हैं वो तो खैर कुछ मतलब कि अब क्या कहूँ मैं, नो कमेंट्स। ठीक है, आप ही कमेंट करके बता दें, मैं आप क्या कमेंट करूँ। तो ये भी हमें कमेंट्स में बताएं, और ये भी बताएं कि आपको अगर हमारी वीडियो पसंद आई या नहीं पसंद आई, और कौन सी वीडियोज़ के ऊपर आप हमारा रिएक्शन देखना चाहते हैं। हमारी वीडियो को लाइक भी करें और अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर भी करें, और हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें ताकि हम आपसे मिल सकें नेक्स्ट वीडियो में।